Hello and welcome to Master Your Mindset with your host, Isis Foster. This is the place to be for anyone who is on a personal development journey. I will be sharing with you my own mindset hacks and personal past experiences. Please subscribe and share if you enjoy what I'm about to share with you and you've taken value from it. You never know who may need to hear it. Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Master Your Mindset. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who tunes in, week out to catch up on all the knowledge that I love sharing with you all. So this week is going to be all about how you can get out of your own way and how you can stop blocking blessings that want to come into your life. And honestly, this is one of my favorite mindset topics to talk about ever, because I was that person who would get in my own head and block anything that wanted to come in my life in a positive way. So I'm going to be sharing with you today the things which I have implemented into my day-to-day life, which have allowed me to welcome so much more abundance of success, happiness, wealth, all of those incredible things that we all want. I'm going to be sharing with you how you can get even more than what you currently have if you are on a journey with yourself right now. So I know for the majority of people listening right now may have a little inkling as to what a growth and a fixed mindset is. However, for those of you that are new here, welcome first of all, and secondly, thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself, because this podcast is like no other. This is a safe place for all of you to be able to tune in whenever it's convenient to you and for you to be able to grow on a weekly basis. So if you are new here and you have no idea what a growth mindset is, I'm going to quickly summarize it for you. It's a mindset in which you want to invest in. It's a mindset in which you want to pour into in order to grow. It's allowing external sources to be able to tell you how you're going to be able to grow, and taking on constructive criticism in a positive manner. And I know for a lot of people, when you are told that you have to do something in a different way than what you're used to, most of us will receive that in a negative light. Most of us will always think we are right in the way that we are doing things, because it's the way that we are so used to doing them, that anything external that is telling us that we're doing that incorrectly, we kind of go the other way because it feels uncomfortable and it feels like that person's trying to tear us down. And if there is something that I have learned in my journey of personal development myself, it's that it's okay to allow people who know more about certain topics than you to give you that advice. It's actually a beautiful thing to be in a growth mindset and be open to receiving constructive criticism in a way that you know is going to help you, not try and tear you down. So let's crack right to it. First of all, I need you to think right now whether you have a fixed or a growth mindset. So a fixed mindset is the complete opposite, obviously, to a growth mindset. It's thinking that you know everything about anything in your life. It's not being willing to want to grow. It's thinking that you are in the best position right now and there's no more room for growth. So are you that person who feels like their whole life is figured out? You don't want to take on any sort of advice or encouragement for those around you because you think you know more than everyone else? Are you 100% happy with every single aspect of your life? Or are you in a growth mindset phase right now where you're satisfied with your life? However, there is room for improvements in different areas. Maybe this might be relationships. This may be your personal development space. This might be a physical perspective. Maybe there's a certain weight target that you want to hit or a strength target that you're trying to get to at the gym. Whatever it is, are you looking to improve certain areas of your life, or are you 100% happy with where you are and you're not looking to grow? Because if that is you, then you're in a fixed mindset space. And there are so many things which hold us back from being in a growth mindset place. And I share these with you now as somebody who was in a fixed mindset for years and years and years. You couldn't tell me anything. I genuinely thought I had the answers to absolutely everything. And the scariest thing is, when you're in that place, nobody can tell you a single thing. Like, you could literally be at your worst version of yourself, and there could be somebody trying to help you overcome challenges and things which you don't even know are happening within you right now. But as an external source, some people can see through those things. And I just blocked out absolutely everything. And in the process of doing that, I blocked so many blessings out of my life, so many things which could have happened for me at that time. I didn't allow to happen for me because I was so sure of myself and 100% set on who I was. And it can go two ways when you are that confident in yourself. I was in a state of it negatively affecting my life, because I look back and it's actually a bit sad, because if I had only opened myself up for people who knew more about different areas, which looking back now, I wish that I'd taken on their advice, I could have got to where I actually would have wanted to be so much faster by just opening up my mind and allowing people's advice and criticisms to help me get to where I wanted to be. So there are so many things, and I'm going to share with you 4 different things right now which could potentially be holding you back. And like I said, these are things which held me back, and now looking back, it's only now that I realize how much it did block so many things out of my life. So old habits. So many of us, especially if we're on this podcast right now, will have things that we have had installed into us from a very young age. And old habits is one of them. They have that saying, don't they? Old habits die hard. And it couldn't be more true. If you are somebody who is an absolute creature of habit, and I will hold my hand up and say that I am this person, because I love a routine, I love habits, I love creating new habits now, which I know I can implement into my day-to-day life, which are going to get me to where I want to be faster. However, with old habits also come bad habits. Habits which you may have learned as a child, habits which may have been instilled into you as you've been growing up in your teenage years, even in your 20s, whatever age you are. I can guarantee you right now, there are a certain amount of habits which you believe are true to you. For example, I actually gave this example to one of my clients the other day. Are you someone right now who will make dinner, clear up, then watch a bit of telly? Or are you somebody who will make dinner, watch telly, and then clear up? There are 2 types of people in this world. And if you have done either of those for the whole of your life, and then you meet someone who does the opposite, it's only then that you realise you actually have created a habit within yourself. And even if the person who does it the opposite way to you tells you that that is the correct way, if you're in a fixed mindset, you will think your way is correct and there's no other way to view that situation. And something which I have learned is that even if you have been brought up in a certain way and you feel like you should cook your dinner and then afterwards you should clean up and then you should watch TV, which, by the way, I honestly do every single day. I physically cannot rest. I can't just chill on the sofa and watch TV. If I can see in the kitchen there is mess everywhere, I physically cannot do it. But I know there's people out there who can easily sit and watch TV with a load of washing in the sink because they're just chilling out and then they'll do it after. So whichever one you are, these are both old habits which you would have had installed into you at some point in your life. So you'd have to find a way to be able to break free of these things. Sometimes it's actually harder to think about how you're going to do it than to actually break free of this habit. And just like anything, it's a complete process. You have to take your time with these things. And for me, my logistics behind clearing up is that I don't have to do it later. I'm very much one of those people who, if I know I need to do something, I'm just going to tick it off my list so I don't need to worry about doing it later. However, I know there are so many people out there who will put things off for a day or a week or a month, and then they will let that build up inside of them. Some people can deal with that, fine, but a lot of people I know can't, and they put it off because they don't want to deal with it in the moment. In the moment, that doesn't suit them, it's not convenient to them, so they won't do it right now. And then before long, they've got all these underlying issues, all these stresses and extra anxious points, and it's because they've put off something they've needed to do for so long. It now becomes an anxious thing inside of them. So make sure that if you do have old habits within you that you know are holding you back, maybe it's that you know you need to go to the gym, but you've been told by so many people that going to the gym won't do anything for you. Or you need to spend more time with your friends, but your friends is not inviting you out. Whatever it is, make sure that your old habits aren't standing in the way of where you are now and where you want to be in the future. Something else as well, which I know now looking back on my journey, blocked me from so many different blessings that could have come my way, is it's limiting beliefs, guys. And as humans, we all have that voice in our head which tells us that we're not good enough, that we're never going to be successful, that we won't be as happy as that person on Instagram. And it's just not true. You need to be aware of when these thoughts come into your head, and you need to have the power within you to be able to quieten these voices, because if you don't, you will forever be living in their power. You'll be forever living in the power of limiting beliefs. And if you don't know how to quieten voices, and you don't know how to get yourself out of that funk when you're not having the best time, then reach out to me, because I have so many different tips and techniques that I can share with you for specifically limiting beliefs. But if you are listening to this podcast right now and you think to yourself, yeah, that is actually me, I know that I am meant for so much more, but I always get in my own head, and I find it really hard to be able to get myself out of the funk when I'm having a bad day, then know that you are so much more powerful than you think. And when you are in that funk and you're having one of those days where you feel like the world is against you, just remember how much you've achieved up until this point, because you have overcome 100% of your hardest days right now. There would have been things in your past which you know you would have really struggled with, but you have overcome every single one of those things. And whatever you're going through right now, whatever those voices are telling you, you're so much stronger than both of those things. So limiting beliefs is something that you can either allow to stand in your way of blessings, or you can say, get out of my way because I know I can do this, and whatever you're telling me is just not true. This leads on to past experiences as well. And if you are somebody who's had quite a negative past experience in something which you are now trying to overcome, this links a lot to limiting beliefs, because beliefs are made up of our past experiences and our surroundings. So let's say, for example, you are somebody who is trying to get stronger at the gym, but maybe you've had a bit of a negative experience with the gym. Maybe you have seen something on social media which puts you off going to the gym. Maybe it's the comments in people's posts and reels that makes you think, oh, actually, I don't want to be like as strong as them. Whatever it is that is holding you back, just know that you set out for one goal for yourself. So don't let external things hold you back. And as easy as that is for me to say, it comes with practice. And once you overcome one bad past experience, you also build confidence with that. So for example, like let's just say the gym again, because it's just a really easy example. If you have been to the gym and you know you didn't want to go there because you had a bad past experience, but you turned up for yourself, you showed up, you did everything you can, I promise you now, you will come out feeling a teeny bit stronger. And if you practice that over and over and over again, it's a repetitive cycle. And then you will get to a point where you will look back on how you initially felt and you'll be like, oh my goodness, that girl never even wanted to step foot in the gym, and now look at her now. And I say that hand on heart because that was me. I started a fitness journey with an online coach 2.5 years ago. And I remember the first time I had to take check-in photos. I could have honestly cried with how I deemed my body to look at that time. I was just so insecure. I hated everything about the way that I looked physically. My health, like my mental health, wasn't in a good place either, which I think was an offset of how I looked physically and how I thought people were looking at me. However, if I had allowed my inner thoughts to take control of my actions and to prevent me from doing something about the way that I felt, it actually scares me now to think of what I would be like in today. Like, how would I look? How would I feel in myself had I have not taken those first steps? So if you are going through something a bit challenging, maybe life's throwing a few curveballs at you, remember that you are never given anything which is too hard for you to deal with. And remember, there's people out there right now who want to help you. And this leads me on to my fourth point. Comfort zones. This is another thing which so many of us live within. So many of us stay within comfort zones because it's so cozy and it's so comfortable in the moment. And that is the problem. It's only in the moment that a comfort zone feels good. If you forever live in your comfort zone, you are never ever growing. You're never trying anything new. And although it feels good in the moment, in years to come, you will look back and you will realize that you've missed out on so many things which could have been given to you had you have just stepped outside of that comfort zone. So all of these things have to work in a process. So none of these things, whether it be old habits, limiting beliefs, past experiences, comfort zones, none of these things are overcome overnight. Just like anything that is worthwhile in life, you have to put time and effort into it. And it has to happen on a consistent basis. However, there are certain techniques which I have implemented into my day-to-day life, which I'm now going to share with you because I firmly believe that these techniques have helped me overcome some of my darkest days and some of the things which have allowed more blessings to come into my life. Like when I look at my life now, there are so many things which I have in it in this moment, which a year, 2 years ago, oh my God, 5 years ago, I would have been like, you are joking me. There is no way I'm ever going to have that. So the first thing I'm going to share with you, the first technique which everybody needs to implement is positive self-talk. And some of you listening will be like, oh, I don't think that works for me. Like, I don't even know what I need to say to myself in order to get those things. I can guarantee you now, there'll be people listening to this podcast who only talk negatively to themselves. Do you look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh, I hate how I look today? Do you turn up for work and say, oh, I hate this job, it's really not good for me? Are there things in your life which you know could be better, but you're talking to yourself in a way which makes them feel like they are so, so bad? If you are, it's okay. And you can change that for yourself because I did that for myself. So you need to change the way that you view things. For example, if you are looking at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, oh, goodness me, why do I look like this? This dress doesn't suit me. I could never wear shorts like that. Change those things because, girl, you can wear whatever the hell you want. You look incredible as you are right now. And if there are parts of you that you want to change, you're not a tree. You don't have to stay still forever. Go and change the things you want to change because it's your body and you deserve to look however the hell you want to look. So you need to change the way that you are talking to yourself because this is so important. There could be two people who look exactly the same, but one of them will love the way they look and the other one will hate the way they look. But it's on you to change the way that you view yourself. Like I said, if there's things that you want to change, go out and change them. Another tip which I have used, which I have found to be so, so helpful, and a few of my clients actually have said, how the hell does that even work? And then they've gone and tried it and they've said, actually, Isis, that really does work. It's to think of the worst possible outcome and then just go and do it anyway. How many of you have been in a situation which has been a bit nerve-wracking? Maybe you're like waiting on a promotion at work. Maybe you are scared as to which direction your relationship is heading. Whatever it is, so many of us I know overthink situations. I definitely used to do this all the time, but a way that I found to be quite comforting in situations which I didn't know what the outcome was going to be was to literally think of the worst possible outcome. So 9 times out of 10, the thing that you're actually thinking of will never ever happen. As humans, our brains are designed to protect us, to make us feel like we're never going to get hurt. That's literally what our brains are for. They're there to sugarcoat us and to make sure that we're safe at all times. So being able to tell your brain that the worst possible outcome is X, and then to actually go through with whatever it is and then realize that you came out with Y, is a really good place to be in, because your brain will automatically jump to the worst thing. And if you allow your brain to meddle in that and to think of more awful outcomes, you will end up in a spiral of anxiety or probably depression, because you will always jump to the worst possible thing if you allow your brain to stay there. So you need to have the power to say, like, this is the worst possible outcome. However, I know that that probably will not happen. And it's quite a comforting feeling to know that the worst possible outcome probably will never ever happen. And the more times you do this, the more you will realize that your brain is just a magnet for negativity. It will always jump to the worst possible thing. And the more times that you implement this into your day-to-day life, this also builds confidence within yourself, because you know that 9 times out of 10, the worst possible outcome will never happen for you. And the final daily technique is one which I absolutely swear by. If you've been following my journey for a little while now and you've been tuning into my podcast on a weekly basis, this is one which absolutely everybody can implement in their day-to-day life, no matter how busy you are. It doesn't take much time at all, and you can do it in so many different ways. So journaling. I started journaling about 3 years ago now, and it is an incredible way to dump everything that's going on in your brain, because as humans, we have millions and millions of thoughts that run wild in our brains every single day. And sometimes we allow those thoughts to take over us to the point where we physically burn out and we can't do anything. So this is a technique which I share hand on heart with absolutely everyone I know who is struggling in trying to voice how they're feeling. I do it by literally putting pen to paper in a manual journal, but I know so many people that also journal in their notes throughout the day whenever it suits them. I spend no longer than 10-15 minutes every night doing this, and it's a really healthy way to be able to dump your thoughts, because if you allow your thoughts to just run wild in your brain, before long you will have so many thoughts and ideas bunged up there to the point that you don't even know what to think anymore. So this has helped me so much, and it's actually a really lovely way to be able to look back on parts of your journey and say, okay, I remember when I was going through that, but I'm now in this place and I overcame that, which I thought at the time was really challenging, but I'm now trying to overcome this, which is also just as challenging. So if I overcame that, I can overcome this. And I find it really nice to be able to flick back from like a year's date. So for example, today we're in October. I can go back to October 2022 and see what I was going through at that time and how I overcame it, what my emotions were, what I was feeling. And it's such a healthy way to be able to brain dump everything that you are feeling. So if you are somebody who is in a growth mindset right now, who knows that there is so much more in this world for them, but they feel like their blessings are being blocked, just know that it is so possible. I've overcome it. I have so many clients who have been in that exact position, who are now literally living the most incredible lives, the most fulfilling, wholesome, day-to-day lives. So it is so possible, but you have to embrace the challenges that you are thrown. Anytime you are thrown a challenge, you need to change your mindset from, why is this happening to me, to I get to overcome this and show the universe that I am doing more than I ever thought was possible. The more you do this, you also build confidence. So when you realize that challenges aren't given to you to piss you off or to annoy you or to see how stressed you can get, but when you realize challenges are being given to you to see how strong, how whole-willed you are, how incredible you are with dealing with challenges when they don't go your way. Also, don't fear failure. So many of us put off doing so many incredible things because we are so scared that we are going to fail. If I had £1 for every time someone said, but I don't think I'd be very good at that, I would be a multi-millionaire, honestly, because there's so many people who don't want to do something unless they know 100% they're going to succeed. And that's just never going to be possible. You're never going to be good at absolutely everything you do. There are so many things in this world that you can give a try at as well. So know it's okay to fail. And if you're not failing, then you're not trying enough things. There are so many things which I have fallen completely on my face with, and I'm now in a place where I actually enjoy failing because it means that you're giving something a solid go. If you don't fail anything and you succeed at everything, you're not trying enough things. And be open to learning. If there are areas of your life which you want to improve upon, but you don't know how to, reach out to people who have experience in that area. Look on Google, for instance, and look at how you can get those skills required to build in those areas. Be open to constructive feedback from people who do know more about certain areas than you. When you're in a growth mindset, you will know, because when someone gives you feedback, whatever kind of feedback it is, if it's given in a positively constructive way, you will want to take that on board and you will want to better yourself. If you're in a fixed mindset, you will take that feedback only as negative feedback. You will block it out and you will carry on doing whatever you were doing in the way that you were doing it. So if you are wanting more blessings into your life, first of all, you have to be in that growth mindset area, and you need to take on the feedback from people who know what they are talking about, because everybody who is on a journey with receiving blessings and they're in a growth mindset wants everyone else to be on that wave with them, because it's the best feeling. You get so much more joy from seeing other people succeed than when you see yourself succeed. When you see yourself succeed, and I've experienced this personally, it feels good the first couple of times that you do something great and everyone applauds you. But then you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I actually want to see everybody else be on this wave, because the energy level that you feel is absolutely incredible. And that leads me on to my final point. If you are somebody who wants more blessings, if you are somebody who wants to achieve more, be better company to those around you, be the best version of yourself, then you need to surround yourself with those kind of people. It's like for like. The better people you surround yourself with, the better version of yourself you will become. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Master Your Mindset. I honestly feel so grateful for each and every one of you who jumps on week in, week out to enjoy the knowledge which I am sharing with you. And if you've taken value from this podcast episode, please feel free to share it on your social medias and tag me at IsisFoster1. I can't wait to see how much we can grow together as a community.